A veggie adventure awaits you, but is it worth the nutrients? Let's talk about Adventures of a Radish. So you're put into the game and there's a hub world, and these consist of 7 different worlds that you go through, all with their unique themes. 3 levels plus 1 boss per world, not to mention a lot of the cute aesthetics and cute characters that you come across. In fact, you play as one adorable radish that you control, and this is a design that initially was different in the beginning and eventually changed over time to something more cute just by changing the feet instead of the longer legs. This is one of the design choices of the game, changing from the creation from what I first seen of it, and it's something that I really like seeing over the course of almost a year seeing this game developed. You have hearts, you have lemons, and you have oranges. All have their purposes, or at least that's what I would love to say, since the lemons don't really do anything at all. We have the oranges that show hidden paths, and we also have the hearts that give you the occasional one-up that you find in each level. And there's also bonus coins, so you have radish coins that take you to bonus levels, and this is where you collect lemons. Lemons don't do anything, at least from what I noticed. They don't give you additional levels, they don't give you anything to unlock, they don't even give you a one-up, which would have been nice, something to give you, the player, a reason to actually collect them out of the way, especially since you go to these bonus levels. You don't get anything from it, and it's fine, but it's still something that would have been cool to see. And you also have like these sparkly bits that give you additional lemons. There's some things here that can really make a really great game, but there's all of these small things really holding it back, such as the platforming. The platforming in itself is pretty good. It's nothing crazy. You just control Radish by moving to the left and moving to the right. So it's pretty simple. Jumping on enemies also defeats most of them. Of course, you have the enemies that you can't jump on, otherwise you will go poof, and that is pretty much that. You go back to the checkpoint or the beginning of the level. All of these levels are really short, which isn't actually an issue if you want to have short levels in your games, although it would have been cool to see some longer levels in the games. The reason I say this is because there's a lot of different elements, such as different platforms, you have these moving bars, and you also have other types of faster moving platforms or ones that go in a circle. These things don't really stay in each level. They go from one level, then that whole type of gimmick or that type of platforming is done. You don't really see it ever again. There's also the problems of different platforms not making any sense. So you have mushrooms as a bouncy platform. You have some other flat platforms that you really only see once, maybe twice in the entire game, and it's something that's not put into a place where you would actually have to use them. You don't even have to go out of the way to even really do anything with them. There's something in the game that didn't feel quite right when going through these different levels and having these platforms like the mushrooms and the bouncy other plant looking platforms that you really only see for one level. I just really wanted them to serve another purpose. Sometimes it's nice when you have these type of random things in games, but for something that's so simple and for something that I found incredibly easy, it would have just been nice to see them utilized a bit more. This kind of goes into some other things with the jumping kind of not registering sometimes when I'm playing the game. It didn't happen incredibly a lot, but it's still something I noticed over the course of playing, and at times it was a little bit annoying. I decided to play on the keyboard, something that I usually don't do when it comes to platforming games on PC. However, the game does work on controller, and I played it in the past when I played the demo, and it's native, so you don't have too many issues with that. The music is absolutely fantastic. This was done by Nicole Marie T. I recommend checking out some of her other tracks that I'll link in the description. It's some really cool retro music, some music that's like really well done, and I was really impressed when I played the demo earlier last year, but hearing the full soundtrack in this game really gives you an idea of how much she loves the retro type of music or music in general, and it's just something I really wanted to talk about, especially since the desert world had my favorite music. The sound effects for jumping on the enemies and bosses weren't crazy, especially when you collect stuff. It was just okay. And one of the issues that I have with all of these sound effects and the music together is the lack of audio sliders. So you can't turn down any of the music or adjust the sound effects, but you can go in your windows manually. Although that is a nuisance because there's things like the invincibility star having really loud music compared to everything else. So when you do that, you'll notice that like influx of that being super loud compared to the music that you just turned down. And then there's the jumping on enemies and other things which you collect. It's just kind of a mess, and having just additional 2 sliders just to adjust those would go a long way. I would love to say that these issues were the only things wrong with Adventures of a Radish, but there's many other things with the glitches and bugs that I've come across. In the minecart section, for example, you can keep tapping the button to go out of bounds, and this breaks the game by freezing it. You're not able to move. You're not even able to really do anything but press escape and just end it. So this is something that needed to be fixed. You have a level where you can fall through the world. Actually, not even one level. You have multiple levels where you can really fall through the world. There's a one-up glitch that happened when I died and hit the checkpoint. It stayed on me until I completed the level. It's nothing serious. It doesn't break it, but it's just something visually that I could see easily being missed. There's some things with some other clipping issues in bonus worlds, or having some of the checkpoints being off center or inside the actual terrain. There's even some clipping of text, and even in the one level near the beginning of the game, you have the mountain clipping with the other thing in the background. So there's like a lot of issues like that. There's certain enemies in the game, such as this flying one, where it comes across you and you're still hit by it, so there's hitbox issues. Yeah, there's many things that need to be fixed in this game, and it's something that really put me off, because the other issues I could see like being a thing that you might not think about, but having these glitches and bugs, I feel like some of these had to come across at some point, maybe not, but these are things that I really wish like were fixed, because if they were, and if the price was a little bit lower, being $5 on itch.io, I could see this game being like a couple dollars after a couple of these things are fixed. But overall, this is my big gripes with playing through Adventures of a Radish. In total, it's 43 minutes. That's the time it took for me to beat everything completely, even with all of the issues that I did have. So probably a little less than that. And I really want to recommend the game, but in the state that it's in, for the price that you get at the moment, I can't do that. However, I hope SorceressGameLab, I hope you can like come back and fix some of these issues, or if not, in the future, in your future main game that you're creating right now, take some of these things that really, like, at least for me, were like a big issue, and possibly fix those so it can make a better game. Overall though, it's a nice step into creating a game, to creating a platforming, since I know a lot of things in life and a lot of things when you're creating a game in general kind of comes up, and it's not something that's very easy to do, but fixing these bugs I think will make a much more enjoyable experience for everyone. Question of the day. Have you ever played a game where you were a vegetable? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell notification, this little icon, to be notified of my latest releases. Also, bam! Here is a playlist of all of my indie games I've reviewed so far. As always, everyone, thank you for watching and take care.